garden. I'm a farmer. Pastor Adedire Gabriel Omishope, Omega. And I believe everybody sitting here, you are all farmers in this industry. I would like to recognize Mama Yaolowo Layema. You are welcome. That's one of those who are giving us the support in this very industry in IFE zone. And Mr. Adegbaju is also, you know him, all the farmers in IFE zone, you know that man. I want to welcome each and every one of us to the gathering, as I've said. I really appreciate those who organize this very seminar, because I believe in what we're going to give out today will provide solution to most of our challenges in the industry. You know, when we are talking about poultry farming, there are a lot of challenges in which we all know. Be it DOC problem, that is the price that they are buying. If I can see someone who will tell me the current price for the DOC today, 1,700 DOC. You know, Oroma diye. I think everybody can hear Yoruba. Oroma. Tí wọ́n ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ bí òòjọ́ 1,700. If a farmer can buy that Oroma diye 1,700, feed is there. They are selling feed, I think is around 27,000 per bag now. Huh? Then we think, if you think about the buyback, what are they offering us now? What are they taking from us? Huh? It's nothing to write home about. What they are buying the best from us. It's nothing to write home about. That is why many of our farmers are pulling out of the industry. I think today I would like the handler of this program, with their technology and with other things, to please touch those areas, whether it can be relieved from what is happening now, because many of us are on their toes now, that either to leave or to stay. So I want to tell you that we really love this very program, because program like this has been done here for long. For bringing us this one now, we really appreciate those who organize this thing. And most especially, special appreciation to Mr. Kintaro, who happened to be one of us. I learned that you will soon add more feather to your cap. So I will say congratulations to every one of us. You are welcome to this very program, and the end of everything, we will have cause to glorify God in Jesus' name.
Thank you very much, Pan. We didn't hear about the crate. Maybe we discussed that one off camera. Don't worry. I was thinking that you will say, before you leave here, you will get a crate of egg, and it's okay. Yes, he's working out the modalities. Yes. Put on once again for him, the president of PAN, Poultry Association of Nigeria. Now I have learned another abbreviation. We want to quickly proceed with just 2 or 3 people in the audience to tell us what is your expectation. Pan has stated their expectation. I don't know if there's any one person in the audience you want to tell us what are you expecting in this program, just for us to see how we'll be able to meet that. Yes. Yes. Give to that man there. Yeah. Quickly, you tell us your name. You are representing industry. You are representing academia.
Thank you very much. Adewonya Adedokun is my name. I'm I own a farm named Ade Adedokun Global Farms in Oshobo.
Good.
Yes, and basically we run broilers, but yes, we go into layers too. Now,
Good.
I'm glad that the chairman was able to communicate our mind. I came all the way from Oshogo. I told my friend Taro that I'm coming, but my expectations are too high. What are the expectations? Very quickly. One, how can data enable farmers to make profit without needing to wait for somebody to do it, or because government policies is a challenge too for our business. So, but however, since we have this, our expectations are high, most especially in a critical time that we find ourselves in the industry, that every hands are tight, and it's as if we are sitting, on a gas cooker. You understand? So, how can this program bring a relief in the area of profit making, in the area of efficiency in our work, in the area of I hope I will not say all.
Thank you very much. Let's put our hands together for him. I was thinking while you were coming from all the way, from Oshogo, that you drop 1 crate of egg in the Faculty of Agric. That will equally be welcome. And the dean is here to record your name. Thank you very much. We are noting your expectation. Just one more person, perhaps a lady this time, to tell us what you're expecting. Are you ready? Yes, we would have want a she. We want a lady this time. Yes, Mama is raising her hand. Mama, I saw you did like this. Okay. Yes, I saw you were raising your hand, Mama. Okay. You can speak in Yoruba, we hear. Good. Let's put our hands together. Yes! It looks like it. And you are fair. I'm sure your comment will be fair too.
A special greetings to the whole house.
Thank you.
I am Mrs. A.A. Ogotunashe, CEO of Agric is the Answer Farm. We farmers, let me just say it in short, we want relief on our work. We want relief. We want gains. We don't want to be working in vain.
Yes.
We don't want to be working for people. We don't want people to be eating on our sources. We want this program to have a very big impact on us in terms of success of our farms. The work we are doing these days, may I say, the gain coming in is not up to the work on the farm. So we are using this opportunity to appeal to the researchers in person of Mr. or may I say Dr. or Professor
Useni.
Yeah, Professor Useni. To please let this program have a very big impact on farmers' work.
Thank you very much. Let's put our hands together for her. Now, these expectations are going to be answered. Now, I can assure you that we have men and women of high intellectual sagacity and savvy. I'll be inviting our own alumni of this institution. I remember the day he was representing the faculty in debate competition between Obafemi Awolowo University and other universities. I can't forget. And I could still remember I was there with Professor Odedire. We were the one moderating. And I know what you did that day. And God have been making you to go higher. Now proceed to meet the expectations expressed. Join me as I welcome Mr. Olamide. He is the MD of Taro Farms. And Agric is the answer farm. Our dean is here, so you can drop one crate with the deal. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to appreciate this very, very big opportunity to stand in your presence. Let me say, I want to appreciate the Vice Chancellor in absentia, the University Management, the Dean Faculty of Agriculture, Poultry Association Chairman of Zone, my professors that are seated there, my colleagues, and my own constituency people, the poultry farmers, the broiler farmers. Great farmers, let's answer it very. Great farmers, no farmer. Every country in the study of development started from what we call agricultural revolution. A country that cannot feed itself or its citizens is not yet to be called a country. That is why our profession stands tall in the Committee of Professions as a noble profession of providing the three basic things: food, shelter, and clothing. Without food, existence is null and void. Therefore, we play that critical. Let nobody say farmers are nobody. And therefore, this forum is to discuss way forward. Basically, bringing research to the people that needs it. Always, when the program started, but before I move on, please, I want to specially recognize my father, the person who stands as my father. He's my uncle. I lost my father over 20 years ago, but my son who stands in the place of my father, that's my uncle, Mr. S.A. Akintaro. Please help me recognize him. He's seated there. He's seated there. Thank you very much. For his, I'm happy he's here. Farmers want relief. When Prof called me, we started this project 2020 thereabout. When Prof called me, Lamide, will you be interested in this research? I said, okay, it's a good research. What is it all about? It's about data-enabled innovations to enhance broiler productivity. I said, what is the goal? When he explained to me, I realized that in simple terms, it is moving from traditional production system to the current realities of production system. Someone said, insanity is doing something the same way it has been done and expecting a different result. People who are seated there I know people who are here that when they see a bird, they can tell you what is happening to it without any scientific diagnostics. And they understand production. But how do we, there is a critical question she raised, efficiency. How can we bring, now what is the problem? The problem is this: we need to optimize our production. How do we optimize our production? Several ways. It's not one silver bullet that answers every question. But one of it is using data to optimize production. I'll give you an example. Just last week, we were checking our records. And we realized that, I realized from the records, that we have had a shortage of close to over 1 million naira from our records. How did I know? My farm staff, they can read and write, but they are not professors. But I told them, in everything you are doing, keep records, because numbers don't lie. And don't tell me I forget the number of bags. You must put it down. By the time we extrapolated the records, we saw that the birds have eaten far more than what they should eat. Broiler farmers there, we understand what FCR is. And our FCR is getting beyond 1.7. And at this current age, going to 2, FCR is going to 2. What FCR is? Feed conversion ratio. The number of feed they are supposed to eat to the number of weight they are supposed to gain. Birds have consumed 4 kg to give us less than 2 kg. You know there's a problem. a real one. How did we know? It was basically data. Is it that we don't keep data before? Yeah, no, we do. We keep data. We keep data. But now, this data, we are finding a way to use artificial intelligence to enhance the data we keep. What are the critical data we keep? Keep mortality, we keep data on feed consumption, we keep data on water consumption, we keep data on environment, we keep data, all sorts of data. But now the project is saying that instead of Olamide or my staff to keep data, let me deploy a sensor on that farm that can gather the data for me, send it to the cloud, and give me insights on the palm of my phone to tell me this is the number of feed they have eaten, this is the current atmospheric temperature, this is the current humidity, this is the ammonia level of my farm on my phone. That is all what this is all about. So quickly, I'll just run through the slide, then we can now go into discussion. Because this is not a rocket science. If data is not available, to make predictions, to make decisions will be difficult. I think you agree with me. Now, Nigeria currently is the largest egg producer and the second largest chicken producer in Africa. And we are what makes us largest because of our numbers. We are following behind South Africa. South Africa is 60 million in population. Nigeria is over 240 million in population. What makes us largest is because we have a lot of smallholder people that are doing it. It's not because we are having efficient production. We are just a game of numbers. The Nigerian poultry sector, according to FAO 2017, says we have 180 million birds. 80 million chicken are raised extensively. 60 million semi-intensive. 40 million, you and me. Because I know the people that are here. We have a proper broiler farm. Poultry production, currently, we meet just only 30% of our local needs. 70% are still imported. In April for most of our producers, April 2024 was a very bad market for broiler farmers. You will agree with me? What happened? Importation, price crashed. And we're almost begging them to come and buy our chicken. This is a big problem. And we have to address it. I don't always want to say someone should help us. It is we that will help ourselves. And until farmers form a united front. For example, now, one guy came to buy chicken from one. I was calling one stupid price. I said, I'm not buying. I'm not selling. If I calculate the number of feed, I calculate the number of DOC, and you're telling me this is how much you buy, you will close my shop. Already, shop said we have reduced production. Let's move on. So, 21% of the chicken we are the one producing more than that 30% that we are still producing. We are the one producing it. And most of them are in the Southwest. So we play a critical role in poultry production. Southwest played a critical role in Nigeria poultry production. Next slide. Current realities, cost of labor. How many of us are having labor challenges? That's a big problem. On my farm, I have pilfering, stealing, everything, order of the day. Medication. How much is the oxygen pack now? When your beds are needing oxygen. I think we bought Kepro, Centasi Pro 34,000 from Vanguard last week. That's 4,000 naira. Just 1 liter. And imagine you are having 6,000, 10,000 birds. You know the number of liters they are going to drink. Fluctuating feed prices. That's a big, because feed is taking 70% of the cost of production. And this is a discussion. If we can reduce that 70% to at least 50% at Ishorire. Now, small-scale farmers suffer from marketing problems. These are current realities. Yes or yes? Marketing problem due to lack of market access or poor infrastructure. Let's move on. Now, let's go to stockmanship. What we do basically is stockmanship. Anybody raising broilers or raising chickens, stockmanship. And the importance of stockmanship is 3 things: welfare, performance, and profitability. Starting from reverse now, profitability first. But performance will enhance profitability. Now, because Onyibo is, even if not Onyibo, even us now, if you don't take care, garbage in, garbage out. Yoruba ni ifeta fadiye. Odenu. Emaso yoku. That's welfare. Because when you don't take care of them very well, performance will reduce, profitability will dip. So those are the 3 basic things of stockmanship. A good stockman must be able to identify and respond to problems quickly. 5 things in stockmanship: hearing, vocals. We can always deduce when birds are having CRD. You know the vocals, you know the vocal voices, you know what they are doing. Smell. What is the thing? If we can get to a farm and you smell, you can know what the problem is. Ammonia. You can immediately know that there's a challenge on this farm. Next slide. I'm driving somewhere. Sight. From physical observation, taste, water, and feed quality. Touch. These are 5 essential points of stockmanship. Now, how does data-enabled innovation help us to achieve effective stockmanship from a practitioner's perspective? Because that's what we are here to discuss. Data-enabled, next slide, please. Yeah, we can move. Next slide. Data-enabled, I said the future is now. We like it or not, I was on a program sponsored by UNESCO on using artificial intelligence for academics. ChatGPT. Students are using it. They are using ChatGPT. So how do we now enhance it to improve our stockmanship? Farm records, most often than not, majority of farmers don't keep records. At best, for yes, ijeta record ijeta lama koleni. I now begin to ask my farm supervisor, "Oúnjẹ mélòó lẹ fún oúnjẹta?" Abeg gbọ́ná. Like pé báàgì mẹ́fà ni. Ó dàbí pé, man, don't tell me ó dàbí pé. What is the actual number? And you know that when they say ó dàbí pé, olè ti fẹ́ ṣẹlẹ̀ nìyẹn. Olè ti fẹ́ dé nìyẹn. Tó bá ti ní pé ó dàbí pé. Ẹyin mélòó náà yé lánàá? Ẹ ó dà ìpa àṣà crate mẹ́. Tó bá ti ń dàbí pé, there's a problem. Now, that rather than allowing there to be that assumption, let us have something that is not human that can take this record for us, and there will be no problem. Is this thing going to replace our work as producers? No. But what it's going to do is that it's going to enhance our production. That's this answering the question of efficiency. Such information now, is it just about data? It's not just about data, but that is the basic of this innovation. Because without data, decisions cannot be made. How did we know that we made that gap? From the example I gave, it is by the data we receive. Such information, when constantly analyzed, we allow shortfall in condition or environment to be rapidly identified. Emphasis on identified and corrected. What are the prospects? I'm going to round up now. What are the prospects? Data, like they say, is the new oil. We need to gather data. And what I told Prof is this. Prof, if all this, our research, does not translate into profitability for farmer, we are just doing academic exercises. We are just writing paper. And farmers, it's not paper they will chop. You want, because I'm a farmer myself. If you are not bringing profit to me, ever could data 1 million. Data does not translate into profit is 0. Now, AI plays a critical role to capture data without much of human interference. This is where we are going. Insight. That data will give us insight. Your birds last 10 years or last 5 years or last 3 months consume 3.4 kilo of feed. Give or take, in the next 3 months, this is the amount of feed they are going to consume. Anything below that, it will alert you something is wrong. Anything above that, it will alert you something is wrong. Are we there yet? Not. No. It's still a work in progress. That's why we call this a stakeholders meeting. Let us have a jojo. Let's have a conversation. Say, okay, how best can we, because the future is here. Artificial intelligence has come to stay. Someone told me that one of the challenges in Africa is that some people are always so rigid with tradition. The way my mother used to cook egusi soup is the way I'm still going to cook it till eternity. But the challenge is this: can we explore new realities? The way I grew up seeing how barley is roasted is the way it's still being roasted. Can we explore new realities? Now, this is the new reality. Using sensors to capture data, using that data to generate insights and projection. I would not want to waste our time because this is the conversation. I believe that we're going to have a robust conversation. Thank you very much and God bless you.
Taro Farms, thank you very much. We'll be expecting more crates from Taro Farm for the Faculty of Agriculture. Please join me as we welcome Dr. Hamid Bashiru to come and unveil the next action plan we need to transform poultry industry. He said that data that doesn't produce profit is academic exercise. Please, Hamid, come and tell us what to do. Thank you. Clap for him. After all this, please, I want you to be noting your questions. After all the discussion, after the presentation, we can now take questions together. We're also going to go in the groups to really have a deep confabulation that will launch us forth into the realms of profit making. No more loss. Yes, I said after now you will not lose anything again in your poultry.
Good afternoon, everyone. I hope we are enjoying the workshop so far. Briefly, what I'm going to present is very, very important, and I will start my presentation from what the chairman of Poultry Association of Nigeria ended it, that the cost of a day-old chicks Oromadie is 1,700 naira now, and the feed is about 28,000 or 27,000 naira per bag. Now, let's say a day-old chicks, if you take in 1,000 and you lost 10 at the first day without feeding anything, you've already lost 17,000 naira. Now, let's say you managed to keep them for 2 weeks before you lost 10. Apart from that 17,000 naira, you still need to calculate the amount of feed that you've given them for that 10 days. And that is why this study is very, very important. Can we identify some critical factors that is driving or affecting the survival and mortality of our broiler chickens? So some of these factors is what we want to analyze and explain to us and discuss for this study. Next one. Now, this is a farmer always thinking, what is killing my bird? Is it my village people? Is it spirits? Or what is actually on? But in most cases, it's usually due to the genetics. When I say genetics, it means the type of the broiler. Is it Aboeka? Is it Covantress? Is it some other Ross or any other one? Now, what about some other diseases? What about the nutrition? the quality of the feed? What about even the vaccination status, the vaccination that we give to the birds, and some other factors? Next. Now, like I explained earlier on, the survival or the mortality of the bird is a factor that determines even the profit and loss. Let me give an instance again. If you take in 1,000 birds and you were able to raise, at the end of the day, your average weight is, let's say, at the end of 6 weeks, the average weight is, let me just put it at 5 kilograms, which is, I'm just an example. But that 5 kg, you were only, out of 5,000, you were just able to raise just 30 up to 5 kg. And another person, out of 1,000, was just able to raise, let's say, 998, was able to raise it, but not up to that weight, maybe just like 2.5 or 2.6. You know, at that point in time, the ADG is more or less like useless, because you cannot use an improved growth performance to take over for the survival or mortality that you've recorded. That is why survival is a very, very important determinant of profit and loss on our farm. Now, this is a curve. I will just put it as a mortality or survival curve, but in the technician or in the technical term, we call it the Kaplan-Meier survival curve. But for our farmer, we just want to see if our bird is surviving or not. Let's look at this line. This first line is showing that right from the first day, our target is that if we are starting with 100 birds now, up to 15 or even to 16, we just want them to remain like that. If we do the population census again, or if there's any differences, it just be like 1 or 2 or just. But look at this, the other line, the blue line. Right from the first day, the birds already, the number, the population is already decreasing. We don't want this on our farm. So the first line is our target. Is that not it? So next. So some of the next one. For next one. For some of these factors, I highlighted some here. One of it is the bird, even the welfare. What about the density, the stocking density? Are we adhering to it? Another one is the nutrition. What about even temperature? I know so many of us, if we only treat heat stress when we see the signs and the symptoms of heat stress. But before heat stress occurs, the temperature will have already been elevated, and as a function of the temperature, humidity index, even some other factors, we don't usually take measure of this. But temperature is also very, very important. What about water supply? Do we have water all the time with our birds? What about the vaccination status, just like I mentioned earlier on, and some other critical factors? Next. So basically, in this study, it was conducted at TaroAgric farms, and the broiler chickens that was used consisted of 18,822 broiler chickens that were raised across 10 batches. And some of the data that was collected from each of these broiler chickens include their survival status at the end of the 6 weeks, if it has survived beyond that period, or if it did not survive. We also mentioned the month of the year, the hatchery, the stock, as well as the batch that it was conducted. For the analysis, we used the Kaplan-Meier and the Cox regression to analyze the data to get some of these inputs. Now, for the results, for the 10 batches, the results shows that the survivor ranged from 79.41% to about 95.74% across some of these batches, showing that there might be some differences in the way some of these batches were handled. And apart from the way some of these batches were handled, what about the source of the hatchery where you got the birds? What about even the genotype. Is it Aboeka? Is it Coventry? And the like. There are some other differences that might be responsible for this. And this is what we are going to see in the next slide. Now, this one, we just want to look at what are those factors affecting it. And from the results, the one that we'll look at is this, the last one, the PR greater than the chi-square. And a simple interpretation of it is, if it is less than 0.05, it shows that it is a factor that is affecting survival and mortality for this broiler chicken. I want to start from the archery. The archery is 0.028, which shows that the source of the archery is very, very important. The source of the archery is a key factor affecting the survivor. We compared with the birds were actually from 3 archeries, which I'm not going to name, but there were significant differences in the survival of birds that was gotten from this key archery. The key message from here to farmers is that don't just get your bird from any archery. Over time, you need to, if we did not take care, if you do not collect data using data-enabled innovations from some of this, we might not know. We just say the birds, they are just the same. And if you don't take data across time, there's no way you will know that the birds that you are getting from this archery, they are not doing very well compared to what you are getting from others. So this is one key example that collecting data is very, very important. Another one is about the stock. And we had 3 stocks, the Aboeka, the Coventry, and the Ross 308. Across these 3, there were also significant what? There were also significant differences in their survival. And that means, as a broiler farmer, you don't just ask for broiler. Be specific. Which one? Over time, you've been able to see, this is Ross, not doing well in my farm. This Coventry is not doing well. Is it Aboeka that works for me, or is it Cobb? And that is what you ask for over time. Next one. So next. So this is the survivor, just the one I presented earlier on. You can see that the one I presented earlier on, the target is to have a straight line that will not move downwards. But for this, we had some that more or less stayed at the top. But there are some batches that were almost reaching the ground, which calls for questions about maybe is it the management, is it the source of the archery or the broil for that particular batch. Yes. So in my conclusion and the key takeaway from the presentation is that there are some very critical factors which include the phase of the production, and another one is the stock, like I mentioned earlier on, the source of the archery, the batch that affected the survival and mortality of broiler chicken. And then these factors, we need to take it to our heart and constantly monitor it, collect data and monitor it over time to improve the survival and as well as improve our profitability for broiler chicken farmers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hamid. Let's put our hands together for him. I think we need to not make our presentation to be more technical. Thank you very much. Only that I expected you to tell us that out of 100 birds, so and so number lived, instead of telling me the percentage. Please, if you have your questions, note it very well, because we are going to answer those questions. And then our rapporteurs that are doing a good job, Adegoke, Adejoke, Oyewumi, Sheun, Akilabi, Oluwafemi. These are our rapporteurs. I'm sure you are taking note. Let's welcome the next presenters. The next presenter is Rashid Lawal. You have 5 minutes, Rashid. Let's clap for him.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, I am Rashid Lawal, the associate on the project Data Enabled Innovations and for Enhancing Productivity in Broiler Chickens. So I'll be presenting on monitoring environmental factors, basically temperature, humidity, gas levels, especially ammonia, nitrous oxide gases, hydrogen sulfide, basically the gases that we see in our poultry pen when we are rearing broiler chickens. Next slide. Yes, so the introduction is that there are multiple factors that affect the health and welfare of broiler chickens. And this factor includes temperature, humidity, noxious gases that I've mentioned, ammonia, hydrogen sulfide, nitrogen dioxide. Then for all of these factors, for all of these variables, all these gases, temperature, humidity, environmental factors, there are thresholds that once these thresholds are exceeded, there's going to be a problem on the farm. Yeah. Next slide. So the site description where we did the experiment for this project is at TaroAgric farm. Next slide. And for the data collection, we used hardware and Internet of Things tools, something like your sensor. I don't know if you understand what sensor is. Sensor is, they are like hardware devices that collect data. For example, your phone is your sensor, is a sensor, it can collect data. Your smartwatch is also a type of sensor that collects data. So for this experiment, for this project that we did, we had the hardware, Internet of Things, and we have real-time monitoring and tracking of temperature, humidity, ammonia, hydrogen sulfide, luminosity, even their noise levels. There is nitrous oxide concentrations, particulate matter. That one has to do with the concentration of particulate matter, has to do with something like dust. I can't remember the term. Next slide. Yes, so this is a table of the list of sensors that are inside that white hardware, that node that we just presented earlier on. So we have the SHC45 that measures the temperature, the MICS that measures gases, that measures nitrogen, ammonia, the 968 that measures hydrogen sulfide concentration, SGP40, the measure of air quality. Yes, that was the term I was trying to remember from the particulate matter. This measures the air quality in the poultry house. And then the ESP32 that controls all of them to be able to collect data and send it to a screen where we can view them and do analytics on this data. Next slide. Yeah, so this is the system layout of the data collection process and analytics. Next slide. This is how we install the nodes on the farm. You can see they are placed close to the level of the beds. If we place them too high or anywhere else, we won't get the accurate data that we need to make our analytics. Next slide. And for the farm, if we are trying to, while doing this project, there are actually 3 pillars that we should look into to be able to collect data accurately on this farm. We have power, we have network, and we have power, network, and internet connection is network, and the nodes, and the sensor nodes that we used to collect this data. So what we did on the farm was that through the funding that we got, because this is a project, we installed solar panels, inverter batteries to be able to power the farm 24/7. And then we got the network booster because there was literally no network on the farm. We used Airtel network to be able to provide 24/7 network on the farm. Next slide. Yeah, so this is the data summary from the month of April where we started collecting data on the farm. We have the records of April, May, June up until August of the amount of data that we've gotten to use for our analysis. Yes, from the results, we can see that from the temperature trend from the data that we got, it's reducing across each month. From the month of April, we can see April, May, June, and if you look at from recent views, you can attest to this that the temperature actually drops when rain started falling, but it was very high from the beginning of the year up until April before it started dropping. Next slide. And for relative humidity, temperature and relative humidity, they are inversely proportional. As one goes up, the other comes down. So we can see that as the temperature goes down, humidity is going up. Okay, next slide. For ammonia forecast, ammonia trend for the months through the months of April to August, we can also see the trend that it comes. And for this blur or shaded part, that is actually the analytics that what we are expecting in the coming months. Because the tool that we use to analyze this data, it showed us, fine, this is what we have. This is the trend of the gases on the poultry farm. And it is trying to tell us that this is what we are going to expect later on. Because the shaded part is not, we don't have data for the shaded part. We did not do analysis for the shaded part. But that one is telling us from the predictive analytics that this is what we should expect in the coming months. Next slide. The same for hydrogen sulfide. hydrogen sulfide, and this is not usually, we didn't get much data on that because it is, hydrogen sulfide has to do with people that raise layers mostly from the droppings of your layer chickens. Yeah. Next slide. Then amount of nitrous oxide, we can see the forecast also. Next slide. Average noise level. Next slide, just, yeah, particulate matter, measure of air quality, volatile organic compounds also. And yet, from the results that we got, we did correlation coefficients. Correlation coefficient is simply trying to like determine the relationship between two variables. This is for the ones highlighted. We have temperature and relative humidity. Like I mentioned earlier, as temperature goes up, relative humidity comes down. So it is showing a significant correlation between temperature and relative humidity. Same for ammonia and nitrous oxide gases. Then we can also see the same for hydrogen sulfide and nitrous oxide, ammonia and nitrous oxide, then the particulate matter, the measure of air quality in the broiler house. Next slide. This is the correlation coefficient at the coldest period. We took data from the farm at 2 a.m. 2 a.m. is assumed to be the coldest period of the day, where there is no sun and everywhere is cool. So we looked at the correlations between temperature and humidity. We saw that it was high. Then for ammonia, it is still it is going high on the same level. And then for temperature and nitrogen dioxide, then also for ammonia and nitrogen sulfide, we can see that it is also high. Next slide. Then for the 2 p.m., we took correlations of their correlation coefficients for data at 2 p.m., the hottest period of the day, where the sun is out and everywhere is scorching. Then we have the temperature and relative humidity to be very, very significant, and also ammonia levels and nitrogen dioxide. I don't know if you've experienced on your farm. At the coldest period of the day, that's when you start having this odor of ammonia. It's usually very high during that period, the hot period of the day, in the afternoon. Next slide. So what are these mitigations? From this analysis that we did, the result that we got, what are the mitigations? Like, what can we do to be able to curb all of these high thresholds of these variables, be it temperature, humidity? For temperature, we can, when the temperature is exceeding the threshold level, what can we do? Ventilation, increase airflow to remove heat. We can provide shade or for the windows. And the practice that most farms do, they try to plant banana trees around. I think banana trees used to bring coolness to the poultry pens, and then use cooling systems for those that have the funds to be able to provide that. Reduce stocking density. This also matters. You should not he talked about stocking density when he was doing this presentation. Stocking density also matters. If you have too much birds in especially broilers, they will just die. That's the truth. Then increase water availability. Then for below threshold, activate brooders or space heaters. For those that are brooding, if you brood your broilers from first week, second week, activate brooders, insulation, provide building insulation, reduce ventilation. Then for humidity, ventilation also, increase airflow when the humidity is going above threshold level. Then provide dehumidification systems, improve drainage. Then for below threshold, humidification systems, increase water availability and mist irrigation for those that are capable of that. Then for ammonia, increase the airflow to remove ammonia. Then I think the basic thing for ammonia is to just change the beddings. Don't allow your litters to become wet. When it gets wet, it gets stacked up and it cakes. And that gives the ammonia level is very, very high, and it will affect the beds. The next slide. Then for hydrogen sulfide, we have dry litter, regular removal of litter, and reduction in your sulfur components of your feed. Yes. And for nitrous oxide also, ventilation, increase airflow, reduce nitrogen feeds, and provide air purification systems. Then for air quality, increase airflow. We can see increased airflow is like the constant mitigation system in all of the variables that were being captured. So we also have reduced dust generation, improved litter management. That also helps. Then for volatile organic compounds, we have increased airflow again, air purification system, reduced chemical usage, improved litter management, and for those that are capable, we can do biofiltration systems. Then in conclusion, these threshold levels, they are frequently exceeded, leading to potential distress and health issues of broiler chickens in the farm, like we have due to the analysis that we made on the farm, from the data we got, And by so doing, it is possible to enhance the welfare and productivity of broilers, ultimately contributing to the profitability and sustainability of poultry enterprise in tropical climates. Yes. Yeah, thank you very much.
Let's put our hands together. Thank you for that presentation. Maybe at this junction, not this avenue, but junction, or at this point, not point P. Let's take one or two questions. And while you are preparing your own question, my first question will be, how do we capture the pre-literate farmers with our communication who may not understand the meaning of ammonia oxide, dicarbide? You know, it may even sound like somebody's name. You know, if you are mentioning some of the gases, you know, helium, helene. So, you know, how do we reach out to them? Yes, you ask question. While I'm waiting for your own question, that's my ultimate concern. Please let me get the mic to him. We just take two questions, then we continue. Yes, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we take 4 questions. You tell us your name, and if you are directing your question to first presenter or second presenter, or to all of them.
My name is BM Samson Rubukola, Sam Farm, CEO of Sam Farm, Initial. I have 2 questions. First one, how can you use sensor or database to identify the quality and quantity of DOC cheese? The second one, how can you use the sensor or database to know or to identify the disease in our individual farm or personal farm?
The next.
All right, so good afternoon, everyone. Lukman Abdel Fattah is my name, and I'm from Agronucleus. So my question is on application and sustainability. Is this thing cost effective for smallholder farmers?
Good.
Thank you.
Yes, we will take all the questions together, then they will respond. There's a hand there. Yes, give, and after you give to the man at the street. I hope our ladies are not sleeping. Or you are thinking about things at home. Don't worry, the kids are safe, and the grandkids are safe too. Thank you.
Good afternoon once again. Bamigboyo Oluwafemi is my name. My question is this. Based on the research, which breed of the birds, the 3 most popular birds, broiler birds in Nigeria, would you advise farmers to take per season? Because you, in the presentation, you told us that based on seasons, some birds did well and some did not do well because of the temperature and weather. So based on that, you did not advise us which of the birds should we stock per time. During the hot season, which of the birds would do best, and during the dry season, which of them would do best. I think it's important for we farmers to know.
Thank you very much. Please give to that man at the extreme. And I'm just worried that ladies, they are not sleeping.
Good day, everyone. My name is Aken Yetunde. I'm from Agrosam Farm Solutions. I do not really have a direct question, but it is a form of exposition. The last presenter did a wonderful job, but I've experienced and witnessed on farms because I consult for a lot of farms. I'm a practical farmer and animal scientist. I have been practicing on this job for the past 10 years. What I discover is this: graduate from Agric, we have challenge in translating information to farmers. I can relate and resonate with the last presenter because I'm an animal scientist. Most farmers, people that invest much in our industries, are informal. Majority are not animal scientists. They are not even agric experts. But when we come to conferences like this, we speak English. Look at all these our seniors in the house, the elderly ones in the house. I'm glad that you brought that idea. Who understand what is ammonia? Who understand what is nitrous oxide? On my farm, I have devices on my farm. because I understand the peculiarities surrounding these devices. On my farms, I have electronic weighing scale. I have devices to measure some what we call insignificant, what ordinary farmers will consider insignificant. I understand it. On my farm, I before I stock, I'm giving us secret. I engage my staffs. I tell them the importance of mortality, why you do not need a mortality in your farm. I don't hide drugs from my farmers. I've visited farms and you discover farmers removing labels of medications from your staff. I engage them. Why in time for oxygen because my staffs are majority are dropouts. In time for oxygen lori, in time for vitamin you get conferences like this the major take home is to how can we be teachable? How teachables are farmers? Most farmers are we bank on who have been on this business for donkey years, and when you visit their farms, you discover that they are doing the same thing in the old traditional way. So I'm using this medium to encourage the organizers of this program. How can we teach the farmers and the non-scientists amongst us to do well in this business? And lastly, sir, on the issue of carbohydrates, the issue of rising cost of raw materials, we all have work to do. It is a macro challenge. At our level, what can we do differently to increase maize? On our level, what can we do differently to increase the growth of soybean? On my farm, yearly I make sure I produce maize. Do we have similar farmers that engage in these things to reduce the challenge? Most of the big industries that produce feed for us, they import maize. That is the secret. If you are importing maize, how do you think they will have to do their own accounting balance in getting what they have imported to our countries? We all have work to do, and I believe that we must put all hands on deck before we can proceed in our industry. Thank you very much.
Let's put our hands together for him. Now the presenters are going to respond, and I had a problem whether some of the gases you were mentioning were somebody's name. If helium is here and you mention helium, there may be a problem. Say you are mentioning somebody's name, say it's a gas. But let's see how they tackle. We just say 4 questions. We take 4. We are still coming back to take more. Let them respond first, and there will be another presentation. I think who is the first person to respond? Okay, thank you. And there's going to be a breakout session too. Let's start. Take any of the questions you can handle, and anyone you cannot handle, you defer it. We have the kahuna of animal science. He's wearing white and he's seated at my right hand side. If you have a cap that is green and his phone is also green.
Thank you very much. I want to respond to the question on how to use sensors to identify the quality of day-old chicks and as well as to identify disease. I'm so particularly happy about this question. It's like you are reading my mind, because my next presentation in the next few minutes is basically going to deal with how to use artificial intelligence to map out from the first operation that you take in before the day-old chicks even get to the farm, and as well as to do everything that has to do with the feeding, as well as present key scenarios and how it has been deployed and applied to identify the quality and even dead on arrival with day-old chicks, and as well as to identify diseases based on different parameters. One of those parameters that sensors can be used to identify or quantify disease is the sound of the birds. So the sounds of the birds based the recordings over time to use sensor, and we can use that to classify or detect disease even well ahead of time. So my next presentation will deal basically with that.
Thank you very much. Take the other question.
Okay, the next one is the exposition from about the knowledge gap. I think this is very, very important, and this is one of the gap that this project, the AAKTP, is trying to bridge. Over time, it has been identified that there's a gap between the academia and the industry. So, and that means we need more of this workshop. We need more of this AAKTP. And I'm very sure maybe even before today, there might be some people that never heard of the fact that it is possible to use even sensors to collect data. But today, before you leave this program, it's not possible for you to say you don't know, you've never heard of sensors before. So this is one of key areas in the awareness that we are bridging in this AAKTP project. And there is going to be more, because this is just the basic workshop. So the feedback from this workshop will also refine our strategies on all the next thing that we can also do to bring it or democratize this technology for farmers to be useful for them.
Are you?
So the next question, the associate will answer the next one.
Thank you very much. Let's put our hands together for him. He has done amazingly well. And maybe we will pause some of this question and take Ayobami's Ayobami Ajayi's presentation, so that we can proceed. We are coming to the questions. Don't worry. There will be a breakout session. And as I told you, the kahuna of animal science is here. He's going to answer the question.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, Ayobami, yes.
My name is Ajayi Ayobami Ayodeji, and I am the technician of this project. So I'm here to present this slide on comparison of broiler chicken productivity across batches with Aviagen's KPI. Well, Aviagen is the company that developed Aboika. Some of us farmers are very familiar with these common strains, the Aboika, the Col 500, the Ross 308. So Aviagen happens to be the producer of of Aboika and then Ross 308. So for this presentation, we'll be using the Aviagen's KPI to compare with the production we have on our farm. So what's our key performance indicator? Basically, they are just measurable values that reflect the efficiency of our farm. So, and what are their effects? They provide clear target decision support system for you to benchmark your production, such that at the end of each batch, it's not just about I came out with 2.5. I came out with, let's say, 2.2 kg final weight. I came out with 2.5 kg final weight. What are the key performance that you need to look into? Because at the end of the day, you might feed your bird, let's say 4 kg of feed. You are getting 2.5 kg. In another farm or in another batch, you are using, let's say, 3.6 kg of feed to get the same final weight. So at the end of the day, what are the key performance traits that you should look into? By the time you have, let's say, 5 batches on your farm, so what are those things that you should, okay, at the end of the day, you are using different levels of feed to finish the same final weight. For one batch, you use 3.0 kg. For another batch, you use 3.6 kg. For another batch, you use 4 kg. So it's not just about your final weight, and it's just not about the money you have earning. So what is the percentage profitability per batch? What are these key factors that you need to keep look into? So part of the importance that we talked about is performance monitoring, decision making, cost control, benchmarking. That is, if you have done 10 batches in a year, which of these batches is your best batch? At the end of the day, you might find out that the one with, let's say, 2 kg final weight might be your best batch, according to the key performance indicators that you have to look into. So, and which the most important is the profitability. So please, let's go. So when we are talking about KPIs, some very important key performance indicator that you should know as a broiler farmer, feed conversion ratio, that is for every kg of feed, how many kg am I getting back in flesh? So the standard one is when you feed, or not, let me say the standard, for the one that we use mostly, when you feed, let's say 3.6 kg of feed, you are sure, you want to get about 2.3 kg in weight. So with that, you will be getting about, let's say, 1.6 FCR. And if your FCR is getting too much, you are not getting a good result. So you might, at the end of the day, be getting 2.3 kg of feed, but how many kg of, 2.3 kg of flesh But how many kg of feed is giving you that 2.3 kg of flesh? So that's what the FCR is talking about. The average daily gain, that is for every day that you are feeding your birds, how much are they giving you back in kilograms or in grams? Mortality rate is very key. You don't just want to play with this. Body weight, the final body weight, cumulative feed intake. At the end of your production, what is the cumulative feed that your birds have eaten? Next slide. Life weight is just like the inverse of mortality rate. Average daily feed intake on a daily basis. This one will help you to track how you give your birds feed. For example, on a daily basis, how much feed should your bird consume at so day? Probably day 1 to day 7. You should understand the quality of feed you'll be giving them. From the second week you should understand the quantity of feed they will be eating. So that at the end of the day, if your supervisor is telling you that he's using this quantity of feed, you will be able to tell them, no, from the KPI, this is what you should be giving them. On no condition will broiler birds eat more than this particular amount of feed on the average per day. So this is just an example of KPI from Aboeka. So for the Aboeka, this is just like your Bible. For anything that you want to know as far as your productivity is concerned, this chart will give to you. For example, when you bring your birds on the first day, their average their average weight should be around 44 grams. Anything less than this, you know you are failing right from the onset. So per day, you go back to this as a reference. On this particular day, what am I supposed to have? For example, on day 42, if you are rearing Aboekas, your standard result on day 42 should be 2.9, because this is the Bible that the company has released. So for this 2.9 kg, how many kg of feed should you give to them before they can achieve that weight? I don't know if this is clear enough, but on this chart, for you to have that 2.9 kg, you must have fed them 4.6 kg of feed. And the FCR you will get for that is around 1.5. This is what the company has released as a standard. Next slide. So if you are using COP 500, I'm sorry, this is not clear enough. It's just because of the file I have access to. So if you have this as a farmer, for whatever strain or whatever type of broiler you are using, you should have these documents on your farm, such that every day you should go back to it. If I weigh my bird on day 7, what is the weight you are supposed to have given me? So you compare. That will help you to know if you are failing at the onset, or at any point in time, if you are on track. So for this particular one, I'm going to present just on three KPIs. That's the body weight, the cumulative intake, and mortality. So for this project, we did 10 batches. And for all the batches together, we had average of all the performance together. So we compared them with the aviagens KPI. The aviagens KPI is the one with in red color, and the one we had on the farm is the one with blue color. So at the end of the project, we can see that our own result is not as good as what the company, the aviagen, has. This is the overall result for all the batches. Next slide. So this is for batch 1. For batch 1, we compared with the aviagen. We can see we still did not meet up. So with this, we already know that how well we are doing. And with that, we can, for the next batch, we can think, oh, okay, this is how we are going to, this is where we are going to improve. Please, let's rush to because of time. So the same pattern shows for all the batches. So look at this, look at this, look at this. For this now, you can see that for this particular batch, you have a long way to go. So this has been very obvious right from the onset. Even right from the onset, it was going well, but when it got midway, there was issue, and by 42 days, there was issue for that batch. Okay, for this is the cumulative feed intake for all the batches together. The first line is the result from the company. That's from aviagen. For all the 10 batches we did, this is the chart showing how much feed all of them consume. And even for the best batch, they didn't consume up to what the company recommended. So by so doing, we know that the result we got was not up to what the company recommended, and the feed we used was not up to what the company recommended. So with this, we can see that, okay, we didn't give enough and we did not get enough. So, and there are several factors that could also result into this. part of which is the welfare, part of which is the health state of your birds. Next slide. So this is showing mortality for all the batches. So here are some batches where we had some spikes on some days. So with these, even as a farmer, if you are not on the farm and you are seeing your records, you can know that you can ask questions. What happened on these days? For example, between day 17 and 19, why do you have a spike? Between day 39 and 41, why do you have a spike? Your supervisor should be able to answer this, because this is the chart showing why there are mortality. And for those spikes, okay, this is one showing for all the batches. For batch 1, batch 4, and batch 5, you know that there was real issues with production. So this, the previous slide. Okay, so in conclusion, KPIs are very critical. It helps you to understand critical areas in your production where you should improve. Another one is for benchmarking. It helps you to compare your batches together. It makes you understand which one is the best. And with the data you have, you can assess your production. You can know how well you are performing as a farmer. And then lastly, for continuous improvement, when you have your data analyzed, and you are comparing with the standard, it helps you to know how well you you have to improve on your production. So that's the last slide. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Please, let's put our hands together for him. Now, the PI of this project has just announced that that very chart that shows the quantity of feed and the corresponding weight of animal that is going to be given to everyone seated here. So you can put your hands together for him. So he's going to be given to you. If you want to produce, want to make the bird to be 1 kg, and you know quantity of feed to get that, all that things being equal. We're going to get that across, because there is the next presentation we want to take is more practical, and it's going to answer the questions some of us have. I think it would be nice we take that presentation without further delay. So let's welcome Hamid Bashiru as he brings the practical, those technologies, the specific ones that we need to know how to use. Quickly, walk us through, please, so that we can go into, please just hold on. And after that, we'll be going into breakout session where we're going to discuss extensively and answer other questions. I wanted us to stand up a bit and do a little exercise, shake the body, and then sit again. But if you can stand up a bit, if you are tired sitting, and shake the body like this a bit. And let's stand up before he starts presenting so that we can absorb it very well. May I request that all stand and all lift up 2 hands and all do like this. Let's sit down. Okay, Amit, please walk us through. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. It's good to be back here. For this, my presentation will center on how we can use artificial intelligence for predictive analysis in broiler production, in poultry production rather. Next slide. Now, for what I'm going to be presenting, I will discuss what artificial intelligence is, the applications, some case studies and conclusions, as well as recommendations. Now, I want to ask a question. In our various farms, if the feed has finished for broiler, if the feed has finished, maybe in the feeding trays or in whatever that we are using, the next thing that we'll do is we call the person that is in charge. Akin, oúnjẹ ti tán o. Go and give them the feed. What if I tell you that the next phase that we are going now is not going to be like that? The next phase is there's a system in place that will automatically detect tó máa mọ̀ pé oúnjẹ yìí o, ó ti tán, and then automatically give the broilers or the layers the next available feed. That is what hacking is supposed to do. But a machine is now the one that is doing it. So in this case, and that is basically what we refer to as artificial intelligence. When a machine is doing the work of a what? Of a human being. Yeah. Hacking will lose his job, Abi. But another hacking that will put in place that artificial intelligence will gain another job. And that is why we don't want the hacking here to lose his or her job in the next few years. The hacking that is putting feed in the feeding tray should be the next hacking that will put in place a machine that will do that job for him or herself. Just sit in your corner and then with a button of a machine, yeah, and everything will be done. That is basically what artificial intelligence is. So even with our phone now, even on WhatsApp, there's Meta AI. If you press anything, you can ask question that a human being is supposed to answer. That thing will answer it. That is basically what we refer to as artificial intelligence. And how can it be used in our poultry or bread, in poultry production? Next. So for this, basically, what the major applications of it? The first one is the data types that can be utilized. One of the data types that can be utilized, like I mentioned earlier on, is the audio, the sound that is being produced. A sick bird, the sound is different from a healthy one. And how do we know it, or how do we even categorize it? There might be some audio recording, and even the video, the way a healthy one will move over time. You know, you can just go there and you see the broiler chicken moving, and you might not even know that something is wrong. But over time, if you calculate it or you watch it around 24 hours, you can be able to determine the difference. But who has the time to be watching a broiler chicken for 24 hours? So there are machines that can do that for you. Next. Now, let's look at this. By my right side, this is an example of a robot that is being used in some other part of the world. And this robot, what it does, just like I mentioned earlier on, this robot will automatically detect that the feed for these young broiler chickens has finished, and automatically do what? Automatically replenish it. It's not nobody moving here and there. A system is in place that will do that, and that is artificial intelligence, one of those applications. Now, the next one, this one is very important. You know, is it possible for maybe just one person to manage, let's say, broiler chicken of 20,000? Is it possible? So possible? Huh? Now, with the way the world is going, don't be surprised in the next few years if something like this if it is being done like this. What I mean is, with this predictive analytics, by sitting down on this laptop, of having that AI system in place, one can visualize the whole architecture, and you can automate every process that is being done in broiler poultry production using artificial intelligence. In particular, this one is what is known as the computer vision. By using computer vision is a special form of camera. This special form of camera can even monitor the bird's temperature over time. It will capture every bird that is there. If the temperature is okay, it can show something like a green that you know. If the temperature is not okay among thousands of birds, right from there you'll be able to see if the color has changed, and you'll be able to identify what is wrong with this bird even before it started manifesting the symptoms of that disease. So this one also shows how agents can be used right from the hatchery to the hatching, as well as monitor the feed into the breeder system. Next. Next. Now, this is also, I mentioned robots the other time. These are more examples of how robots in particular in broiler chicken production. So this robot can automate what human beings will have to do. So some of these robots can actually do that. Next. Now, this is the part that excites me the most. You know, it's very important that we'll be saying it can do, but now we are moving to it can do and how it was done. These case studies are a report of how it has been utilized, not just something that is futuristic, it has already been done. So, and this is what I want to present here now. Now, for the first case studies, the first case study is, the title is the Automating Poultry Farm Management with Artificial Intelligence, Real-Time Detection and Tracking for Enhanced and Efficient Health Monitoring. Now, for this poultry farm, they used a model, and the model is what is known as the YOLO 5. You only look once. And this you only look once by when they implemented it in this farm, it can alert a broiler chicken farm that is going to get sick, maybe next week, can alert you that this broiler, your bird, so the way they are doing from this week is going to get sick in the next, maybe probably in the next 4 or 5 days. You know, with the way we do manual operations, the only thing is we only detect a broiler bird whenever it is sick, whenever the symptoms are shown. But this time we have a YOLO model that can do what? That can detect and can be used to monitor the health. Next. Now, the next one is one problem that we also have is our feed formulation. The other time in Survivor, I mentioned one factor that affects is the quality of the feed in terms of maybe the ratio. And this time around, artificial intelligence can actually be used for what? For feed formulation, so that every nutrient that is required at every stage for the broiler chicken or for the layer is being met. The other one is also to how do we detect health conditions in broiler chicken using AI. And the next one is I mentioned computer vision earlier on. The computer vision is when you use a camera. You know, for example, when you have a CCTV, but this one is much more than CCTV. You know, CCTV we use it to detect maybe if there's security breach or anything. But there are some extra computers that are different from our CCTV. But there are also computers that can also be used to do what? To detect so many of these problems. Next. Now, yes, I answered something earlier on about the arrival on death using machine learning algorithm. This machine learning algorithm, just like AI that we presented earlier on, can look at a broiler chicken and predict right from the arrival, that day old, look at it and say, this one is not likely to survive. Yes, even before you see the signs or the symptoms, based on the activity, based on the way the broiler chicken is moving, right from day old, will tell you the probability of survival for this one is low. So if you get a consignment of 1,000 now, and the machine learning is telling you out of these 5,000, the probability that 60% of them the survival of them, even right from day old, is very low. You know, you can reject that consignment that this one is low quality stocks. But without this, we cannot know. You just say it's distress. And it's not really distress. It might be some other factor that you cannot treat. So over time, it will show. Next. So these are also some other studies on machine learning that can also be applied. And the next. So this one is also for health predictions, that this one has already been done. Next. So Now, this one is very important, and it's very important for every breeds of broiler chicken. Lameness is a very big problem in broiler production. So right from using the activity of a broiler, the way it moves, it can also be used to do what? To calculate or predict the lameness of such a broiler chicken. Next. So in conclusion, like I mentioned earlier on, let me give an example. When Android phone started, people said these ones are China phones. Nokia was still in vogue then. But now, Nokia did not do what? Nokia did not, at that point, did not try as much as possible to upgrade their own to what is in vogue. And now they are majorly out of mobile production business. So what the key message from here is that there is an opportunity for us to do what? To apply so many of these, and we should be open to deploy it whenever it is available. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's put our hands together for him. It's like they are saying that IFE is now in our palm. You know, you don't need to go and consult with this chicken live or not. The IFE is now in your phone. You know, immediately you bring the chicken. You don't need to go and consult. The oracle is with you. We know there are a lot of questions now. We want to go into groups to discuss the questions. So you have already received numbers. May I request those of us that have number 1. If you have number 1 given to you, can I see your hand up? Good. If you receive number 1, can you come to this side? Number 1. All those who counted number 1, just come here. Now, those who counted number 2, can you move to the extreme? Yes, number 1 here. All those questions you have, we are going to raise them, discuss them in low tone. Then when we finish, we will now come and bring them together. Yes, sir. Yes, I'm putting his number there. Then number 2 should be at that extreme. And those who have counted number 3, 3 should come here. Yes. What are we going now? Yes, that's right. Thank you very much, bro. No, first of all, give to Mama. Give to those amount that are seated there. If you are, Mama, try. If you are to describe to your fellow farmers what is ammonia gas, what will you tell them in Yoruba? What will you tell them is ammonia gas? How will you explain it to them?
Nígbà tí ilẹ̀ wọn ti ń mí sókè tó ń tàyàn lójú, tó ń ta ojú.
Good! Mama, for that reason, you have just won an award. There is an award for whosoever gets the question. So you are going to get an award at the end of this program. Put your hands together for her. Yes. It's a really technical question. Can we now have the summary from group 1, please? Thank you very much. You tell us your name and then you summarize. And after the summary, please, you give us the document you have written. Thank you.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Nkechi Gabriel, animal science student for Obafemi Awolowo University. So for my group 1, we were trying to identify the barriers to achieving this AI that is being introduced to us. So we have a lot of barriers with the AI that we are being introduced to. So we made a listing of the barriers that were introduced. We made a listing of all the barriers that we might probably encounter while using this AI. So the barriers are: first, we have power, that's electricity, network, the location of the farm, the technical know-how of how we would actually make use of the artificial intelligence being introduced to us, accessibility of the AI, availability, funding, reluctance to change. That means we know that we have a lot of elderly people that don't want to change from what they know before to the current situation that we have. They believe that the olden days method is better than the AI that is being introduced to us. So that's what we call reluctance to change. Then, how are we sure the AI is a perfect preference? That's doubt. How convenient will it be with the new technology that will be introduced? So we have to also weigh that also, the convenience, technology differences, deficiencies rather. That means the challenges of the technology being introduced to us, encouragement from governments and other industries related to it. Then bringing up professionals to teach on how to make use of it. Then groundbreaking. So we're trying to identify the way forward for each barriers before the time elapsed. So, but we're able to put down some. So the first is encouraging solar. So someone mentioned that solar might be quite expensive or not really affordable. So someone also mentioned that he uses he sells the waste being generated from his broiler farm to some Hausa guys that they also use it to make biogas. That's also a way of generating electricity. Then for the network, we also suggested that we should avoid total dependency on network. So it should be like a 50-50 thing, whereby you can feed your birds the normal way you feed your birds, while you can also use the technology, because we have a lot of deficiency using the artificial intelligence. So that was where we ended our discussion.
Thank you very much. Let's put our hand for group one. Wow. Of course, there's always people we call laggard on the adoption category. There are 5 of them. We have laggard, we have late adopters, we have late majority, we have early majorities, we have innovators. I know that the laggards we always say, will it work, will it not work? But let's hear what group 2 has to say. Today is not the day of discussion on adoption. Thank you. You tell us your name.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Adura Agbemi, Adwega, an animal science graduate. To the glory of God.
Yes, if you want to clap, you clap very well. But you would have announced that with one crate of an egg. See that your graduation is made. Anyway, we eat that when we come for your.
So group 2 discussed the promise and benefits of digital technology for small and medium poultry enterprises in Nigeria. So briefly, we identified 3 things that you need for you to deploy digital technology, which is power, internet, and the sensor itself. So we itemize the advantages of these digital technologies, such as reduction in theft, which means you already know the number of things you are expecting. So there won't be, instead of you are expecting 20 eggs and then your laborers are telling you 15, you already know that, okay, this is predictive farming. So you know the number. So reducing theft in the farm, and then enhancing productivity and profitability. Your profits are increased, because that is the major reason for all this. And then reduction on number of laborers. So you have more money to channel to productivity rather than paying wages and salaries. And then there are challenges. We had itemized challenges also, such as affordability, manipulating machines. Someone mentioned the fact that they cannot trust humanity. Nigerians will manipulate everything to their own favor. So liberals will manipulate machine instead of writing figures, just like some people complain about filling stations. You understand all those things. And then cost implementation, availability, internet access, technical know-how, and identification of gadgets. Okay, one major shortcoming, so to say, in this seminar, in this conference that was mentioned was that these gadgets should have been brought and then displayed to farmers so that you will see how it is being done and how they need to link this to their devices. All right. So another shortcoming is alert system on risk factors. The presenters mentioned the risk factors, and then how are these alerts? How are we going to receive these alerts? So very quickly, also, okay, our teacher taught about affordability. You can actually get this gadget on platforms such as Pop 360, Jumia, Konga, and they are cheap, unlike we just think they are. And then the technical know-how, which will include demonstration to farmers, how it is done. And then there will be a dashboard. It's a work in progress. There will be a dashboard whereby wherever it is you are, you will be able to receive the alert on your phone, regardless of distance. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Let's put our hands together for group 2. May we invite group 3 now to and submit to us group 3.
Thank you very much, sir. My name is Ajayi Ayobami, and I'm reporting for group 3. So one of the salient questions asked was, how practicable is this entire AI thing? Well, from the presentations we've had, it's practicable, but another question is, what is the level of awareness of young farmers, of small-scale farmers? For example, farmers with 100 to 500 chickens, can they actually jump on this? Is it affordable to them? And for now, the way it is looking from this discussion is more suited to, let's say, medium-scale farmers, like probably 5,000 to 10,000 orders. They will be able to afford this better because the cost effectiveness compares to their level of production can still kind of accommodate it. So there were some suggestions about the cost analysis of the equipment. For example, today there should have been a presentation on how much are these nodes, how do they cost, where they can get them. And incidentally, some of these nodes, they are very available. If you search on Jumia, search on Konga, there are things you can always order with just the click of your finger. So, and then another question is, what is the place of extensionists in this project? It's a key question. The place of extensionists in this project, I believe we have extensionists in the house, so very important, they will definitely be incorporated in this project. So another one is the scalability, and then also, is there a product development? Well, for the product development, that is in progress, and in the coming slides, it should be presented to the level of work done on the products for now.
Thank you very much, Ayobami. Let's put our hands together for him. I just looked very closely. I saw that there is something on the dashboard. Maybe Rashid, you should come quickly and talk to us about that thing on the dashboard. Yes. It remains group 4 and 5. So we take what is on dashboard while that group we quickly prepare their summary. Quickly, Rashid, come and tell us about a dashboard for decision support system. Quickly. Just highlight, please. I know some of us may be flying back to Lagos. Don't worry, we are still constructing the airport. But you can use the road this time. Or you get to Ibadan, there will be an airport. You go to Lagos. So, thank you.
Good afternoon once again, everyone. Yes. So this presentation is going to be based on what we are going to be seeing, like tabati share gbogbo IoT, tabati connect gbogbo, tabati share everything. How are we going to be looking at it on the screen? Do you understand? Like, what are we going to be looking at? What should we look after? Kini kama wo on the screen. That's basically what dashboard is. So all the connection, gbogbo connection tá máa ṣe pẹ̀lú IoT tó máa gba data on bare temperature, humidity, ammonia, nitrous oxide, gbogbo ẹ̀. everything that's going to be showing there in Katamamari, what we'll be looking at, that's what I'm going to talk about now. Decision support system is just the English. A bottle and then yeah, that's decision DSS. That's just what is there. We don't need to worry ourselves about that. You don't need that information to just know that this is the main, this is what it is. Dashboard. In Katamamari, results that fair, like to see what we are actually doing on the farm, what is going on our farm. Next slide. Next one. So why do we need this? I think we've talked about that before. Like, why do we need to like be looking at all of these things? Why do we need to check temperature levels, basically profitability, productivity, enhancing everything on our broiler farm? Next slide. So I want to show, just go to the slide on the first AAKTP dashboard. Yes, there is this dashboard that we created on our project, but this is still a work in progress. We have not perfected this yet. We are still working on this. So in Kotele Ishenipe, the temperature, humidity, ammonia level, everything that is there is going to show you on this dashboard. But what we designed on this dashboard is that instead of going through the stress of looking at this chart, trying to see where the temperature level, otikoja limit, otikoja threshold, heat stress in your broiler farm, you don't need that. So we incorporated this system of alerts. I was discussing it with my group 4 members there. Yes, I was discussing it there with them. What this does is that if it has passed that threshold level, for example, if you look up here, this is for the temperature. You can't see it because just look at, this is temperature level. And we have colors, different colors that is depicting that. So Mama show, fine, this is the same. If this color, to show green, that means that, okay, the temperature level is okay. It's fine. Our broilers are doing good. They are all right. But Tobatin lobby yellow. That means that, this temperature is increasing. Putting loss, okay. What can I do to my kiloshi window or kilo provide or for me to see drinking water, or Tobatin one low red? That means that problem is going to happen. What you is stress already, and before you know it, within 5-10 minutes, your birds will start dying. So this is basically what we did on this dashboard. So instead of you going through the stress of dashboard, you are trying to look at this reading. What is here? You don't need all of that. We've already incorporated this alert system. And if you want to apply this, if you want to put this in your own system also, the service providers that are going to couple this system for you, that are going to do the IoT system, our sensor connection, everything, they should be able to do this for you too. But maybe at an additional cost, but this is going to be effective. Am I making sense? So, and you can also do it in the sense that you can have an alert system that will be telling you, for example, Tobati was red or Tobati was yellow. It will be giving you one sound on your phone because you should be able to connect to your phone. You can view this anywhere. You can view it on your phone. You can view it on your laptop. View it everywhere. So, I'm rounding up now. Rounding up. So you should be able to like do this system into like maybe a signal system. That way it will be telling you, it will be giving you an alarm, just like your normal alarm on your phone. It will be telling you that, okay, fine, temperature to exceed the normal limit, humidity to exceed normal limit. What can I do? Like, what's the proactive measure to do on the farm to be able to like make my beds be very okay for good productivity? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rashid. Let's put our hands together for him. That's a beautiful presentation. Let me invite Rufai to come and give us the next presentation. I was told that national grid collapsed, and that this light may also collapse in a few seconds. Before it collapses, let me invite all my presenters to come. Rufai, please. Just highlight, please. If you need more information, I told you that the kahuna of animal science is here. You see him.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Rufai Abdurrahim, and I'll be talking about IoT-enabled infrastructures, basically. So apparently, these are the outlines. Although we all know the challenges in poultry farming, everyone has been mentioning that since one thing our challenges were in poultry farming, the manual monitoring of data collection and the like. The advantages, they've been mentioning the advantages too. So I would basically be talking about how we coupled those sensors together, what we did in the lab here in IFE. So back. So this is what we did in the lab, basically. Yeah, there. Please, sorry, back to ESP32. ESP32. So basically, ESP32 is the brain behind the whole box that you saw the other time. ESP32 is like a microcontroller whereby nǹkan tó ń ṣe ni wípé gbogbo sensor ta ní farm wa òun la máa connect mọ́. So tá bá ti connect mọ́ òun ló máa send gbogbo data yẹn sí cloud and to the LCD screen tá a ti visualize it. So then these are some other sensors that we used also. The SGG and code, the gas detection sensor. This is the LCD screen that will view this. Then this is the load cell, the sensor that will generate the weight for you. So you will be able to visualize the feed to FCR. Yeah, that's the feed conversion ratio. This is the sensor that will work on that for you, Rashid. Then this is what it looks like after it has been coupled together, basically, at the farm. This was what we did at the farm, at the lab here in IFE. So then the real world implementation, these are some other industries that build real life IoT systems. You can probably ask from others about them. NIPSI system, these are the things that they've done. This is their own dashboard. This is where they visualize the temperature, the humidity and the likes. Then the Baku Smart, the AgriMesh also, these are the things that they do basically. Yeah, and that's all. Thank you very much.
Wow, this is the best presenter. Yes, we are always to keep it. He applied the principle of KISS. Keep it short and simple. KISS. That's the best principle in communication. Can we have the last of it all?
Once again, I'll be showing you some poultry apps that you can use, that you can adopt on your farm. All these poultry apps, they are just few that I got. So this is not all of them, but you will find more on your Google Play Store. For those that are using Android phones, you can get all of these apps on your Google Play Store. Let me change the slides. So next slide. We have the Poultry Manager app. It's used to track feed inventory, track egg inventory, then flock inventory, track feed purchase and usage, go into specifics of your transaction. The next app is Livestock Manager app. This one's to schedules livestock records. Anything basically records on your farm. You can use all of these apps to like keep records and track what is going on your farm. Feed mixer app. Yes, if you want to formulate feed on your farm, let's say you have a feed mill on your farm and you want to automate your feed mill formulation, all the calculations that you need to do, this app will do it for you. So yeah, it does that. Next. Then there's the Flock Farm Poultry Manager app. This one's has to do with your poultry management, keeping records and whatnot on your farm. Then there is this last one, the poultry disease. This one, Flock Farm Poultry Manager. Yeah. Then your poultry disease and treatment. This one will tell you the likely disease that you can have on your farm. Example: CRD, Newcastle, Gomboro, all these diseases. It will tell you in context like what they are and how to treat them, and also how to prevent them on your farm. Thank you very much. You can always access Google Play Store for all of these apps. There are so many more apps. There are plenty apps that you can suit to your own farm and your own needs. Thank you very much.
I hope it's been good since morning. I need a response. Hope it's been good since morning. Are we enjoying ourselves? Is it a knowledge-driven one? We enjoy ourselves, right? So we are left with group 4 and 5.
Yes, while that group 4 and 5 are coming to give their summary, we have put a survey on the platform. May I request at this junction you begin to practice what you have been taught. You know that the IFE is now in your palm and it is your handset. And more things are going to be put in that handset. Can you log in on the WhatsApp group page and then fill the form we have there, please? While we expect group 4 and 5 to come here and summarize your presentation. Group 4 and 5, please. Very fast. But most important thing now, please, have we logged in? Just hold on. Have we seen the survey? You've seen it, please. Can you proceed to fill it? I'm also aware that there is food somewhere there. Yes, waiting for us. The food is not going to run, but I have put a padlock. It will not run away. Now, but you have to do me a favor here. Log in on the WhatsApp page of the group. And see now, it has collapsed. Now, log in on the, okay, log in. Where is Rashid, how do we do that? Okay, we're going to reach you. Do we have your phone number? You can write it out and give to us. We will send it to you. If you write it now, yes, come group 4. The diesel I was told is very plenteous. So,
all right. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Oyewumi Oluwaseun Christiana. The summary from Group 4 is that some of the group members raised questions concerning the artificial intelligence, and some of these questions were that how to get access to this artificial intelligence, and are there technicians that help couple it together. And also, they asked about the technical know-how of the machines, then what capacity can each artificial intelligence cover? According to the project, it was mentioned that they have about 2,000 capacity for the pen. So people asked that, will one machine cover the whole 2,000 capacity or not? Or they would need more than one? Then the duration of time these machines have to be online. And it was said that the machines have to be online 24 hours. So if there will be a training also for how to read these machines, and I think that has been covered. And if there's any other thing that is supposed to be known concerning this artificial intelligence, there's a group for that where follow-up will be made. Also, it is asked that, can this data be read by the farmers themselves, which was answered that yes, absolutely they can be read. And the key pillars for these machines are power, network, and nodes. The last question was that the cost of setting all this up on individual farms, and the cost was a challenge, which was where we stopped. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Can we have group 5? And I will be asking, is it possible to have those things written in our vernacular? You called our own language vernacular, colonial master. We accept that. But will it be possible to have it written? Somebody just sent me a copy of physics written in Igbo language. Physics. So can we have artificial intelligence now written in our own, you call it vernacular, in our vernacular, so that, good. But at times it may not be perfect.
Good afternoon, everyone. Okay, so in group 5, the issue of cost was mentioned. Someone asked questions about the costing of all these devices. I believe the costing of these devices will depend on the size and what you want. I believe gbogbo ala mọ̀ pé aṣọ 1,000 ó yàtọ̀ sí aṣọ 10,000. Definitely sensor 1,000 ó máa yàtọ̀ sí sensor 10,000. So tá bá ní sensor irú DHT sensor báyìí òun ló ń detect humidity and temperature. We can get some of them here in Ife for about 2,000. Then there are some that are imported and you cannot get them for nothing less than 100,000. So you can't expect the work that a sensor of 2,000 would do to be the same thing with an imported sensor of 100,000. So another thing that was mentioned was the issue of identification of these diseases. Even do we have AI infrastructures to identify diseases? And the solution that I mentioned was, I believe Rashid mentioned it, that we have audio and the video recordings, that we have audio sensor and video sensors that will be mounted in our farms, whereby whatever the tiniest sound at the corner of our farm will be detected. On a normal day, if your chicken are meant to sound like ka, and then it's sounding as ko, definitely something will, a trigger would have been informed that, okay, there is an issue somewhere, there's an alert that will be sensed that, okay, your animals are having so issue. So you understand that. So then another thing was, can we view these things on our phones? Yes, they are called IoT for a reason, Internet of Things. You can view it anywhere all over the world, in as much as there is 24 hours electricity and the internet connection on your farm. You'll be able to get all these things. You access them from anywhere in the world. Someone from America can have a farm in Nigeria and be looking at what's going on in his farm. It's very possible.
Thank you very much, Profile. Let's put a hand together for him. Ladies and gentlemen, on this very particular time T, point P, moment M, I want you to rise up on your feet as we welcome the kahuna of animal science, a very professor who taught me genetics, and I have not forgotten. If you that after that you can come ask me any question on genetics, I will answer you. Well, we have been sitting for a long time. Let's give a clapping ovation as we welcome Professor Oseni. He is the convener of this program. Now I think he deserves a full clapping. Thank you very much, sir. Yes, humbly, gently coming.
Good afternoon to all participants, our elders, our contemporaries, our younger ones, our students. I'm in search of words to describe what happened today. Words like amazing, words like very motivational. We have learned from you. We learned a lot from the feedback from the breakout sessions. This is truly inspiring. So we want to, thank you. To our farmers, you were the purpose for the design of the KTP. KTP cannot survive or exist without the industry. And we are so happy that you came from far and near to join us for this event. We just want to look at what is the next step. The breakout session raised a lot of very pertinent questions, really. And what we are saying now is we are aware that so many things have changed. For those of us who use ChatGPT, and it was a blow away, really. It's part of these emerging technologies. It's the same for AI applications in poultry and in every field. I think the critical starting point is to open our minds and accept. But we also know that there are occasional risks. It's not every AI model that works, isn't it? But in order to circumvent that, there is a solution, quick solution. What you call POC. It's called the proof of concept. Proof of concept says that a particular AI algorithm has been demonstrated to work, including all the apps in Google Play. They have been, that's why they are there, meaning that there's the element of what you call utility value, isn't it? So I'm so happy for all of us, isn't it? We want you to adopt, however minimal, any of these. The Department of Animal Sciences, where we work and teach, has a hub called Livestock, what you call IoT for livestock. So you see some of the tops our colleagues and members are wearing. So this is an ongoing process. We cannot address all the questions today, but we have jump-started a very long ride today. So what I want to employ all of you is to feel free to consult with the hub, which is IoT for livestock, Department of Animal Sciences, OAU, Ile-Ife. We don't have the immediate solution, but we have what you call continuous research with real passion and dedication to getting this solution. We feel that this is the new way, really. Include for those, if you type, open your word page. What is the first line you see on any blank word page? You say you want to invoke the AI assistant. Even on your word page, even for a phone without Android, you have the Truecaller having AI embedded. So don't wait until we could barely breathe without AI before we adopt it. So the discussion is going to be ongoing and continuous. But we're going to start with all the poultry farmers. You are the reason why we are here. So a round of applause, please. We have, again, our LOC, the university, the media, our staff across board, from the teaching and research firm, from the department, from the faculty, etc., media, Edu TV, Punch, NTA, News Agency of Nigeria, etc. Just to thank and do the expression of appreciation well in advance. We're going to call the MD, TaroAgric Farm, to do the remaining. But accept my heartfelt gratitude for your patience. Thank you. God bless you.
Thank you very much, dear PI. We welcome Mr. Olamide for vote of thanks. Yes. And the marching order for the food. No, I told you that we pick padlock. Yes, we made sure that those chickens that have, you saw their picture now.
Thank you very much. Great farmers. Great farmers. I want to say a very big thank you for staying all this while. I want to believe it has been 6 hours of intensive discussion, if not more. I want to say a very big thank you to, first and foremost, all the poultry farmers that are here, all the way from Oshogbo. Farmers from Oshogbo, please can you just wave your hands? We want a big round of applause for them, please. We appreciate you for coming. We say thank you very much. Farmers from Ile Ife, can we wave our hands from the source? Great farmers. Farmers or industry people from Lagos, can we have you? Lagos, raise your hand very well. Thank you very much, Yes and Heralds. Thank you for gracing this occasion. Say thank you. From Elisha, wow, thank you very much, ma. We are so grateful. We'd like to have your contact so that we can also network to that part of which other place again? Iwo, from Ede. Ede people are special people to us. Where is Ede? Special people. Thank you. We appreciate Iwo. My former professor. Thank you, Dr. Oladejo. Thank you for coming. We want to appreciate our students who are here. Thank you, Department of Animal Sciences. We want to appreciate our erudite professors from the Faculty of Agriculture, from the Department of Animal Sciences. We say thank you very much. I want to appreciate the compare, my own professor, Dr. V.O. Okorie, for this very great job. I want to say thank you for coming. We want to appreciate the technical team for a great job. Well done. I want to say thank you very much. I want to say this prayer that Adelebari, Arinokori, Afoyaibi, when next we are going to meet, it will be better testimony. I want to also pray that this our profession, because we have chosen this as our own profession, it's not just a vocation, that we shall make profit, no matter how challenging it is. I want to also appreciate my special friend from Feed Avenue, Femi. Thank you very much for coming. Dr. Osman from Adva, thank you for. We are looking forward for collaboration. Come and sponsor this program because this is just the beginning. Dr. Osman, I've known you from Olam days. Femi from Feed Avenue. Any other industry person here? GS Agric, we want to appreciate you. Industries, Dr. Egbon, top feet. A big round of applause for Dr. Lagbaju, Adegbaju. We appreciate you. Support from here and there. We are going to have a collaborative effort with you, and I think we can take this to the next level. you can take this to the next level. We are looking at Nigeria Poultry Show. That's the next point of call. And we are going to make sure that there's a shift from the traditional poultry system to the 21st century poultry system. Thank you very much once again. The food will be shared. Our guest first. Farmers first, but they will tell us the modalities. Eshe Modupe o. Abakintaro, thank you for coming. I especially recognize you. Thank you very much, sir.
Let's put our hands together. Yes, I told you that here and now, can I request that the farmers quickly step out? We were going to serve the farmers first because they are the one who produce the chicken. And some of them are looking at the picture of the chicken and try to match it with the one they have. We will, at the registration desk, can I request that the farmers proceed? Mama, you proceed, you go to that desk first. Those of us who are from OAU, we will go last. Our own is, we are years of our subscription. So we want to carefully navigate it. Our own can be sent, those of us from IFE here, from OAU. But the farmers who actually produce this chicken, you can see the beautiful picture. And some people have been looking at, is it not my own chicken that I'm seeing the picture here?
Yeah, please, let's do that. We want to also appreciate from Modakeke, Adams, Pilgrim Farms, say thank you very much for coming. Modakeke, Ile-Ife, all of that. Thank you very much. Esheo, Adele Barrio, Esheo, we appreciate you.